Good afternoon and thank you for joining us today. I'm Karen Fuller and here are the top stories we're following for you now at noon. Homicide number 70 in Little Rock over the weekend. You'll hear from city leaders and we'll have more details about this record-breaking year downtown. Plus, early voting numbers are up, but Republicans and Democrats want even more people to hit the polls. We'll take a look at the races with a little more than a week to go before the midterm election. And later, pay $4 for $18 worth of food and cut down on food waste. We'll show you how some apps are making saving as simple as a tap or two. But first, meteorologist Nathan Scott joins us now. Nathan, happy Halloween, by the way.
Good afternoon, Karen. Happy Halloween to you as well. Can you guess what I am this afternoon?
Of some kind, maybe a bachelor on vacation.
You know, I was going with a honeymooner or maybe a single guy on that tropical island from that other network I can't mention. But we got some tropical rains out there this weekend. That really has helped out with the fire situation because look at all the burn bans that have been lifted across a large part of central Arkansas. So most of us are seeing those burn bans lifted. I just checked. Pulaski County Sheriff, we're still under burn ban in Pulaski County. That may change later this afternoon, but it's all good news because a lot of locations saw over an inch of rain from this weekend. Here's also some more good news. The wildfire danger risk, there's no more extremes showing up, and the high risk also continues to fade away. Visible satellite out there right now, we're into the upper 60s, even 71 in Little Rock. The clouds are moving off to the east, and we'll see plenty of sunshine out there. Nothing scary about this forecast. In fact, I'm going to call it spectacular with temperatures warming up into the low to mid 70s. Lots of sunshine, and take a look at your rain chances for the next 5 days. Small chance on Tuesday, small chance on Friday, but those chances I think really ramp back up just in time for the weekend. I'll have more on that forecast coming up.
Nathan, thank you. We'll see you then. Right now, Little Rock police are addressing the violent year that is now tied for the record for the most homicides in a single year at 70. The last time the city reached this record happened back in 1993. As you can see, the city leaders are speaking now. We have a crew there, and we'll have more on their response coming up tonight on THV 11 at 5 and 6. And it does come after a homicide was reported early Sunday morning. Shortly after 2 a.m. Sunday, the Little Rock police responded to a report of a shooting at a home on York Drive. Officers arrived to find 34-year-old David Royal suffering from a gunshot wound. He later died at the scene. 40-year-old Avrion Carter has been arrested and charged with first-degree murder in his death. Police tell us the incident stemmed from a domestic disturbance. Also happening today, Arkansas State Police are investigating the murder of a Brinkley woman. State police have arrested 29-year-old Juwan Swanigan for the murder of 73-year-old Shirley Bodkins. They believe he murdered Bodkins late last week. Many questions remain about the incident as the victim was not found after a 2 a.m. call to the apartments on Thursday. After 2 a.m. Thursday, police responded to a break-in at the Sunset Apartments on West Walnut Street. It was the next day when Bodkin's body was found by family members. Swanigan remains in custody today on charges of capital murder, aggravated robbery, and burglary. State police are not confirming whether the victim's apartment was the same as that of the reported break-in, but say there is still a lot of investigative work to be done here. The search has resumed now for a missing hiker near the Buffalo National River. 67-year-old Clinton Preston Smith was reported missing Thursday after he failed to return from a planned hike on the Hemmed-In Hollow Trail in Newton County. Smith is from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Park rangers, sheriff deputies, volunteers all searching for Smith over the weekend. Bloodhounds were brought in to help, but that rain we had Saturday hampered their efforts and possibly washed away any trail of a scent. Law enforcement across Arkansas are continuing to count the pounds of pills collected on Saturday's National Drug Take-Back Day. The event offers anonymous disposal of unneeded or expired medications. Pulaski County Sheriff's Office reports more than 2,300 pounds collected through its efforts. And for more than a decade, Drug Take-Back Day has provided an easy, no-cost chance to get rid of medicine stored in homes that could be misused or even stolen.
We have 2 drug take-back days a year, and this helps the community properly and safely dispose of any unused or expired medications.
Many agencies have their other drug take-back day in the springtime. According to a report published by the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, or SAMHSA, a majority of people who misused a prescription medication got it from a family member or a friend. Already, millions of Americans have cast their ballots in the midterms, and tens of millions more will vote before November 8th. The latest CBS News Battleground Tracker poll shows Republicans are in a good position to win a majority in the House, but turnout is key. Skylar Henry reports from the Capitol.
Early voting is in full swing in many states across the country, including in Nevada, where some voters cast their ballots Sunday.
I just want to show my support and do my part in it as well.
A new CBS News Battleground Tracker poll shows about 8 in 10 Americans believe things in America are out of control, and a majority of the people who feel that way say they'll vote for Republican candidates.
We have a lot in play. The Democrat agenda is very unpopular.
Get off your couch and...
Democrats deployed big names over the weekend, including former President Barack Obama, to drum up support.
The reason I'm here is simple. I am here to ask you to vote.
Likely voters are also split on their biggest concerns between a functioning democracy or strong economy.
When you see the folks who prioritize functioning democracy, they're voting for Democrats. That's their message. Folks who prioritize a strong economy, they're voting Republican. That's theirs.
Yeah. Voter intimidation as well as potential violence at polling places remain a concern. A newly released domestic intelligence assessment shows that extremists fueled by election falsehoods posed a heightened threat to the midterms.
Very worryingly, you have threats of harassment, intimidation, and violence against election officials, polling places, and voters.
But federal officials stress there are no specific or credible threats to disrupt voting. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
More than 21 million Americans have already cast their early ballots for the midterms, and that is according to the U.S. Elections Project. In Brazil, voters have elected their next president. Leftist Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva narrowly defeated conservative incumbent Jair Bolsonaro with just over 50% of the vote. Da Silva previously served as president from 2003 through 2010. And if you'd like a closer look at the races here at home, the candidates as well, before you cast your ballot, THV11 has you covered. You can find our comprehensive voter guide anytime on THV11.com. You can also text the word VOTE to 501-376-1111. We'll send the link to it straight to your phone. The suspect in Friday's hammer attack on House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's husband, Paul Pelosi, apparently had a list of people he wanted to target. That's according to law enforcement sources familiar with the investigation. Paul Pelosi is still in the hospital recovering from a skull fracture. The suspect, 42-year-old David DePapi, is expected to be arraigned tomorrow. The U.S. Supreme Court will hear arguments today in 2 pivotal cases challenging the consideration of a student's race in college admissions. The cases involving Harvard and the University of North Carolina could end affirmative action as we know it at public and private schools across the country. Recent polling shows 74% of Americans oppose affirmative action. Majorities across all racial and ethnic groups say race should not be a factor in college acceptance decisions.
If you're economically disadvantaged, you should get a boost, rather than just arbitrarily looking at the ethnicity, the last name, the skin color of a particular applicant.
Because there are different legal questions for public and private universities, the court could reach different outcomes. Another difference, new Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson will only participate in the UNC case. She is recused from the Harvard case because she served on its board. The Prime Minister of South Korea is promising a thorough investigation into a deadly stampede that killed more than 150 people over the weekend. This was in Seoul. Around 100,000 people were believed to have gathered for the country's first unrestricted, virtually Halloween celebration since the COVID pandemic began. Among those killed were 2 American college students. Cases of canine influenza are rising across the country. When we come back, you'll hear from some dog daycares being forced to close.
And we've got lots of blue sky all across central Arkansas right now. It's going to be a really nice Halloween day around the region. Tonight, we'll see temperatures cool down, but there are some changes that you may or may not like. Going to the extended forecast, I'll have more on that coming up.